Okay, just kind of a dead quick chat about what I carry day to day on my harness when I'm out climbing. So I've got my normal belay plate with grooves. I tend to use oval carabiners on here because it doesn't matter which way up the carabiner is, it just kind of works. So I'm going to clip those around the back on my harness there. Next thing I tend to carry is a HMS, or a pear-shaped carabiner. This is more of a sort of a, it's not a massive one, but it's big enough to get at least 2 cloviches in. Next thing I tend to carry are a couple of D-shaped carabiners, and I tend to carry these clipped together on my harness. I can take one or I can take the next one. These are pretty small. These are the ones I use in summer. In winter I tend to carry slightly bigger ones because they're easier to get on and off with gloves on. So there's 2 of those for clipping to anchors. Next thing I pretty much always sort of carry on my harness is a carabiner, screw gate carabiner with a 120 centimetre sling. And it's good to have that on your harness too, just in case you need to clip in while you're going to maybe abseil off or sort something out. Next thing I carry, a little jumble of stuff here. I've got a nut key for seconding, getting bits of gear out the rock, and even if you're at the top of the crag you might need that as well, even if you're not seconding, just perhaps you're taking a belay apart. And I've got a couple of other things on here. I do tend to leave my whistle on there. I've hardly ever had to use it, thankfully, which is great. But especially if you're out winter climbing somewhere, it can be a really good way of attracting attention if you need to. And I've got these other 2 things. These are prusik cords. We'll do a separate video about how to use prusik cords. This is a 6mm and this is a 5mm. And they work differently depending on which ropes I'm using. If I'm using thinner ropes, maybe the 8mm that we use as half ropes, I'll need the thinner cord. If I'm working abseiling on a slightly bigger rope, a single rope, I find the 6mm one works better for that. So I tend to leave these on this, actually it's an old screw gate, but it's the one I use, and they just sit right around the back of my harness, out of the way. I'm right-handed, so when I climb I tend to put other gear on this side, so I tend to leave all this stuff that I'm not going to need until I get to the belay, sort of to the top to belay. I tend to put that round there kind of more out of the way, and that's just what I carry on my day-to-day harness.